In both scenarios, if I'm niching the content, one of two things is happening. I then am taking that content and I'm targeting the person that niche content best applies to. So the idea that I am secluding other people, I think, is broken. Because done correctly, the only one that's going to see this niche content is when you targeted the right person. So to them, it's a perfect fit, and the rest of the world has no idea. Right? So you're not actually niching yourself to the masses. You're niching yourself for the person that needs that niche. So you're only showing up niche to the appropriate people. And to the rest of the world, you're showing up however you choose to as a professional real estate agent or an investor or whatever. Niching done correctly doesn't push other people away.
What's up, y'all? Trevor here with Carrot, coming at you with another episode of the Carrot Cast. And kind of funny story here, actually. This is a second try, and I know you guys don't have to know this with the magic of editing and the magic of everything. You didn't have to know about it because, but it's kind of funny because Sam and I have been trying to get this podcast for a little while and just scheduling. And I know I had to move stuff and things like that. And then we were about 15 minutes into some awesome stuff right in the middle of Sam's story. Power goes out. But the cool thing is, y'all, we're going to dive back in, and I'm excited for you guys to listen to this episode because I'm going to introduce you to my friend Sam Khorramian here in a second. But the way I want to do it is I originally came by Sam years and years ago through one of my previous companies, and they were doing really, really cool stuff. But it wasn't until just a few years ago, probably 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I remember flipping through Inc. magazine. And there's the fastest growing company list. And at that time, I'm like, man, it'd be amazing to someday be on this list. And flipping through, and it was number 23, 24, 25, something like that. It was a company that at that time I hadn't heard of, but it was led by a guy that I had heard of. And that was by Sam. It's called Block Realty, number 25 or something, fastest growing company in America. Not fast growing real estate brokerage, y'all. Number 25 fastest growing company in America and one of the top fast growing real estate brokerages in America, all in one state. Just wait until they go out to other states as they go. But then the next year it hit again, then the next year it hit again. And the reason I want to have him on this podcast is twofold. Number one, we've had a chance to dig in together and get to know each other better recently. I've been a part of their mastermind called The Closing Table, which is an amazing mastermind. And then also number two is they're really leading a lot of things as the industry is shifting a lot. And I want to bring light to what Big Block is doing, how they're marketing, how they're using content, how they're adding better value to agents, and how you guys can do the same to get better results in your market. So I want to officially welcome on or re-welcome on after the power went out and re-back on Sam Khorramian, man. What's up?
What's going on, buddy? Thanks for having me on. Obviously, we've been trying to put this together for a while, but thank you for the kind words. Thanks for the opportunity. And also, like, major congrats on all the success you guys are having. You're changing people's lives in that space as well. And it's cool to see our two spaces, as we were just talking about, kind of coming together. So.
Dude, and that's the cool thing is, y'all, you guys have heard it on the podcast and webinars that I've been doing about where the market is, where about 2 years ago, I started saying, hey, you've got the retail side, you've got the wholesale side. And traditionally they've been very separate. They've been very separate. Either if you want full offer for your house, you go list it, or if you need to sell quick and you don't mind taking a discount, you go the other way. You go to an investor. And I saw, man, the writing's on the wall because a seller's a seller. They just have a problem that they need solved. And a buyer, it's either a retail buyer or someone looking to buy an investment property. And I'm like, man, it should just be like the same person or the same company or whatever. So investors should be agents or work with them, and agents should be investors or work with them. And that's one cool thing at the last closing table. Sam was talking to us about, and we'll probably get into this a little bit, but about their big plan at the end of the day. Like, yeah, they have an amazing brokerage and they're serving agents at such a high level. We'll talk about what they're doing and how you guys can plug in. But they're also going, how do we capitalize on this by adding so much value that we can then have an asset of over the long term that can build really good wealth, which is real estate. So they're doing both as well. But man, why don't you let people know those who are not familiar with you, who are you? What do you do? I already mentioned Big Block Realty. And then after that, we'll kind of go back and reconvene on bringing people up to speed on where'd you come from before Big Block. But who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, thanks again. So again, my name is Sam Khorramian. I'm the CEO of Big Block Realty. Over 1,000 agents and doing, almost $3 billion in volume. And in the process of being fortunate enough to have grown a great business, we started to develop a lot of different products and businesses around the real estate transaction. And now we have a portfolio of companies that focus on everything from brokerage to software, tech, marketing, and as you kind of hinted to, investing and real long-term wealth creation.
I love it, man. And one thing we'll dig into is as the industry has shifted and there's more and more tech players coming in and trying to disrupt things and starting to commoditize in some respects some of the agents' commissions. A lot of agents I'll talk to, they'll be like, man, we used to get 3% for each side, and now we're lucky if we get the 2.5%. And there's a lot of things where we talk about in our content where if you build authority and you stand out and you add so much value that you can still stabilize and if not get the full commission, if not sometimes more. But then also making sure that you're finding ways to make sure you're getting as much of the commission as possible, which is where the big void opened up 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, if not more, where you see cloud brokerages coming in, 100% brokerages come in. And the best one, y'all, and this isn't me just saying it, but the best brokerage that I've seen like that out there is Big Block. And it's not because not because of the fancy, like you said when we were recording this before, like there's the downline on some of them, this and that. I'm going, man, those are kind of, for lack of a better term, those are kind of like schemes. But I want something that's long-term, something that's going to build me and something that's going to be an asset for me that's real rather than these downline schemes that if I move to a different brokerage, it's not going to help me.
Yeah. Yeah, just piggyback off of that, and I think this is a lesson is in business, if you're an investor, if you're an agent, if you sell cowboy boots, you can try to create, let's say, gimmicks or cool tricks and hacks to like get people to pay attention. We've always bought into the idea that like, let's just focus on what the customer wants and let's make our goal the customer. So we've just focused on trying to create the best place for agents and investors that do retail transactions to work.
Cool. Dude, so let's kind of dive into the story a little bit, and then we'll go up to what is working right now for your agents and for you guys to grow. But dude, what were you guys doing before Big Block? Because Big Block isn't something that you've been doing for 20 years. What'd you do? What was the transition? What was the pivot?
Yeah, so we've been in real estate, me and my business partner, Oliver, been in real estate pretty much our whole adult lives. Mm-hmm. And right before Big Block, we were doing a lot of buying and selling. We were flipping homes, primarily in the short sale space. And in the process of growing a business with some decent volume on the flipping side and doing negotiations for agents, we also started a company where we were teaching people how to buy and sell real estate with little to no money down. And that's kind of how we got connected through JV Update and the whole info world. Then one thing led to another as the market started to correct for the positive. We kind of asked ourselves, what's next? And that's kind of how the idea of Big Block Realty was born.
So I can't remember, were you guys agents before shifting to Big Block?
Yeah. So fast forward to way before investing, we got in as loan officers and we were selling 125% loan to value second mortgages.
That's crazy.
Like, just think about that, right?
That is insane.
It's insane. As the market obviously took a big tumble after that, we moved into becoming agents. And Oliver and I ran as agents for a couple of years. And in the process, we started to support investors in buying short sales and flipping them and making money. And then we saw the opportunity and partnered up with some people and started focusing on that a lot. So we've kind of had the fortune of touching all the different spaces in the industry.
Dude, one thing that's kind of under the surface here that I want to point out is, so you guys were loan officers first, and then you became agents, and then you saw an opportunity by working with people, right? Working with investors, and you go, cool, well, here's a wave that we can ride that wave. And then you did. And then you saw the education way, which is like, cool, a lot of people might want to know how to do this. Let's build a business there. And then in the process, you were working with agents. And then that's where you started to ask them questions about, they're starting to tell you, hey, the struggles they were having with the brokerages and what they were wanting. And then you saw, well, cool, the next X amount of years is going to be an amazing time to build a brokerage. And one thing that's really cool here, y'all, is I think a lot of people, they get locked up into, well, here's the business I'm doing now, and they stay in that business for too long without a shift. And now it doesn't mean you have to shift to a different industry, but you do have to be looking ahead to go, what is this going to look like in 5 years and 10 years and 2 years? And what's going to best prime me and my companies for success? And so you guys did see that wave of what's become like the longest and possibly recorded history bull market on the real estate side. And I mean, forever, possibly. I don't know the stats, but it's been a long time.
But
and so, yeah, so you guys are on that ride still. Is there anything that you're looking at, man, with the market now, where it is likely where it's at the top of the market in many parts around the country, if not over the top in some and before it in some? What are you guys looking like in the next 5 years? Is there anything that you plan on adjusting, shifting with what you guys are doing, or just business as usual?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think that at its core, our as long as we're in the brokerage space, our first goal is always going to revolve around creating the best place for agents that sell real estate to thrive. And with that at the forefront, we're always going to be looking at ways to bob and weave and make things work. And as we were talking earlier, like what I see is the writing on the wall is investors are going to start being agents more, and agents are going to have to start being investors. And we see that as a big opportunity to support our agents and our investors. So we're going to be doing a lot more of the investing side through the brokerage space. And as the correction comes, and we'll see to what level we get corrected, we see that as a big opportunity with our agents and our network, to syndicate and take down a lot of really good opportunities and help our agents build wealth with us on this next downturn.
So all you real estate agents and investors listening to this, I want you guys to reverse that last little bit there, because it's really strategic. It's really strategic. I remember during that last downturn how so many mortgage brokers and also real estate brokers were struggling during it because they didn't know how to shift to capture that opportunity. They're trying to do everything the same way they always had. And what Sam's talking about here is they've built Big Block. We're going to talk about Big Block here in a second. Also, what they're doing, that you guys can start doing content marketing, how they're using video a lot, and a bunch of other amazing things. But what they're doing is they went, cool, let's provide the agents exactly what they need right now, which is higher commissions. Commissions are getting squished, and a better place to work, and better resources, and better training. While all the other ones are trying to add on other things, they really focus in on better. How do you run your business better as an agent? And now they're going, cool, as the market shifts, how do we also provide those opportunities? So if you're an agent, you should be looking at, over the next 3 to 5 years, how do I capitalize on investment real estate? Because the second you stop selling homes, unless you got a big team, the second you stop selling homes is the second your commission stops, unless you start to get smart, like Sam and the Big Block team is doing.
Thanks for saying that. So for those of us that are agents and aren't investing, what I don't like is looking in the rear view and saying, man, if I would have only been in the position to do this different when that happened. And when the Google happened, right? If I was only had enough money and I would have only got, that's happened to me a few times in my life. I'm not going to allow that to happen in this next downturn. I mean, wealth is made in the downturn. That's my belief.
Yeah.
So for agents, understand that the business isn't going to go anywhere. It's just going to be different, and it's going to open up opportunity for you to invest in a major way. And then also for the investors, you're already in it, and you're going to, the transactions will change, but what a great way to start to build an opportunity around your investing business, which is focusing on retail sales and almost becoming both in one.
Dude, so let's kind of shift into the marketing side of things. So you guys, I think I heard it right, $3 billion in transactional volume a year, and you have 1,000 agents. What do you see? And yours are still in California exclusively, right?
Yeah, we're in California right now, and in the next few weeks, we'll be announcing our plans for national expansion.
Dude, that's exciting, man.
Yeah,
that's
man.
very exciting.
Thanks.
That's cool. So what's working right now really well for your agents? What do you guys like? If an agent walks into your office or into your trainings and they just switched over to Big Block and they're kind of wanting to get things rolling, what do you say? Hey, this is your playbook, do these things?
That's a great question. And I think it really depends on where they're coming into the business, their background, their history. I'd say I really believe as an investor or an agent, the core of your business should always be coming from your database, past client center of influence. I mean, there's just so much opportunity there. Past that fundamental foundation, we're really focusing heavy on helping our agents build brand around themselves by leveraging content, video, and everything in between. I heard Gary Vaynerchuk say something a few years ago that really backed up where I think you and I see this going. And he said, as long as you're the person that's really good at what you do, you could be the best agent, the best investor, you're the best. You will always remain in the place in which you have to chase the business. But the moment you become a somebody, the business starts to chase you. And you look at people like on the flipping shows, A&E flip shows, or $1 Million Listing, extreme examples of brand. But I bet you Josh Altman on $1 Million Listing is not chasing business anymore, right?
Oh, no.
Like it's ringing him up, it's knocking on his door. So I really believe that it doesn't matter if you're 72 and just learning this game, or 17 and about to get your license. I really believe that content and brand development has a place for both extremes in this business. And to me, that's what a lot of people need to be focusing on: building brand, building awareness, and putting themselves in the position to be hunted instead of hunting.
Dude, I'm completely paying attention. I'm actually drawing something on a piece of paper, and I'm going to show it really quick.
Okay.
Because I've got this framework, man, that I started to come up with that explains this pretty darn good for people. Exactly what Sam was mentioning, and you guys probably can't read my writing here. I usually do it on my whiteboard behind me. But so over here on the bottom, you've got influence, right? In really crappy writing. That's like a fancy I. That's like a no. I just don't know how to write.
But this is money right here, dude. I've never seen anyone put this together like that.
Yeah. So you've got influence down here, then over here on this side of it. So if you guys are only listening to this, go to the YouTube channel and watch the video. You're going to see the picture. You've got the earning potential over here, right? And so at the very low level here, you're kind of the tactician. That's a real estate agent who I know I've got my license. It's Aunt Betty over there who got the license. She does a few transactions a year. She knows how to do it. But she's not an expert in the field, right? She's got the physical license. This down here, you're going to have the least earning potential, and you're also going to be the first ones to get commoditized out by the machines, okay? And so that's kind of your tactician, the person who knows that. The next thing is the expert, which is exactly what you said about Gary, where it's like, hey, you can know everything about it. There's a bunch of experts in college campuses, but they're not authorities because not a lot of people know that they're an expert, right? And so the expert is going to earn more money than the person who's the tactician. They've started to learn. They've actually put in the work to learn the stuff. But the next level up is what I call an authority. And the only difference between an authority and an expert is more people know that an authority is an expert. And so you just go back to the college campus stuff, right? And you go, well, shoot, this college professor is not going to earn much, even though he's amazing at what he does. But the person that wrote the book on it might not even be as much of an expert as this other guy, but a lot more people know he's an expert.
You got the authority.
Yep. And then up here at the top level, you've got the celebrity authority, which is your Josh Altmans and stuff like that. And once again, there's a lot of people that might look at them on TV and go, man, I'm better than that guy is. But he earns 10 times what you do because more people know. And I'll finish it with this. Because I always like to challenge people, and this is so important. Then we're going to dig into what Big Block and what Sam is doing to build authority for themselves and what their agents are doing. So you guys can do the same thing. But the only way to build authority, the only way, and I will, if anyone has a legit way, I want you guys to email it to me or Instagram it to me. Just go find me on Instagram, IG it to me. If you know of another legit way to build authority that's not content, I will pay you $100 bill. I'll mail it to you. The only way to build authority is with content. The only way.
Amen.
The only
Amen.
way. Whether it's this content or in front of someone, one-to-one shaking hand, you're still speaking words that build authority. So, dude, you guys have grown really fast, and you guys are an authority there. What are you guys doing, or you in particular, because you do a lot of it, what are you doing to build authority? Then what are you seeing is working for your agents with building brand, building authority that other people can do too?
You know, a few years ago, before everyone was going hard in video, we just knew that was something to do. And we right now internally have, of course, like most companies, a marketing department, but we have a full video marketing department. And we're focused on the corporate level for ourselves and on the service level for our agents in helping them create brand and content leveraging video primarily. And for us, the biggest thing is a couple of things. One, we're putting a lot more effort in Billie Jean style, like pattern interrupt videos, and those do great for us, right? But we simplify all of our content marketing into 3 simple steps. And you already know this, but I think for those of us that don't, it'll be a lot of value.
Cool.
So we take the funnel, and for those of us that see the video, we break the funnel into 3 halves, right? The top of the funnel is where people don't know you. The bottom of the funnel is where they pay you. So if you take a funnel and you chop it into 3 halves or 3/3, on the top of it is what we focus on called awareness campaigns. So what kind of content can we create to make people aware that we exist? So as an agent or as an investor or as a brokerage or whatever, that's value forward content. So we're always creating value forward content to make them aware that we exist. And then we take them in the middle of the funnel, which is giving them content to help them in what we call the consideration stage. We make them aware we exist. We take them to considering that we or this solution might be a good option for them. And then focus on helping them create on the bottom of the funnel conversion content that's designed to help people convert. So everything that we do today falls into one of those 3 categories.
Dude, so let's give a couple examples. I saw one of the videos. I'm assuming it's an awareness video that you guys are putting out. You had the money burning on the picture the other day. I haven't seen the video yet, but I can't wait to see it. And then you guys had another video, and I want to see where these land in the 3. You guys had another one recently that I watched, which was killer. The dude walked around the office slapping sandwiches and eating sandwiches and stuff.
Yes.
So explain what some of those might look like for you guys and maybe for agents too. So this type of a video would be awareness. This type would be consideration. This type would be, closing them.
Yeah. So, I can use our examples. Both of those for us are going to start as awareness, which is top of the funnel, ripping attention and making them aware we exist. But we will, that slapping video that you saw where we're slapping food out of people's hands, that one will also split at the bottom of the funnel for conversion.
Yep.
But I think to make it most suitable for people to digest, let's talk about making content for, let's say, a first-time buyer,
yep.
right? I like this category because it represents a big part of the market. I think last year, 60% of transactions had a first-time buyer on them. If you're an investor, this is important to you because this is the person that's buying your property. If you're an agent, this is important because they represent more than half the transactions. So on the top of the funnel, I'm going to create content making them aware that renting is not as cheap as they think. So back to your point, I might have a stack of money, light it on fire, and I might say, hey, you might be wondering why I'm burning a stack of money. This represents every single payment that you make on rent to your landlord. You might look at it as only $2,000, but in a moment, I'm going to show you how this $2,000 over the course of 5 to 10 years is actually costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost opportunity and wealth creation for you and your family. So then the rest of the video will quickly explain how renting is the devil and it just makes you stay broke and how buying might be a solution. So now I've made these people aware that renting is actually not that much better, or in other words, buying isn't as scary as they might think, right?
Cool.
Then in the middle of the funnel, I'm going to give them content to consider it being a good fit for them. So maybe video number 2 would be 7 signs that you should not buy a home, right? So the video will be 7 signs you should not buy a home. And if one of those 7 does not apply to them, then that must mean they should buy a home, right? So give them some sort of consideration. Then on the bottom, the conversion is I would be running kind of like 2 different campaigns. One, I'd ask myself, what do they need to really consider the starting of this process? And I'd make videos, maybe interviewing a loan officer, taking away the fear around the loan approval process, helping them understand how, hey, at this point, you probably watched a couple of my videos. You might be wondering, what's the next step? Let me quickly explain to you how you don't need $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to buy a home, and we're helping people buy homes with just a few thousand down. So I'm going to give them content to help them actually say, okay, I can do this, and try to pick up the phone and call me. And then at the same time, at the bottom of the funnel, I'll be running case study and testimonial videos. A video of a couple saying, oh my gosh, we're so happy we found Sam and the team. They took us from renting to owning, and it was so much easier and less painful than we ever imagined.
Dude. So in all those, are you doing call to action? So let's say in the awareness, is there a call to action, or is it straight up you're throwing awareness, building your audiences, and then delivering people who've watched 50% of those or whatever to the other stuff? Or are you doing?
Great question. So calls to action will always be present in two places in the funnel, regardless of which part of the funnel we're at. Okay. So for the top of the funnel, the video itself is going to be all value. At the end of the video, there'll be a small call to action. To learn more about what this might mean for you, visit this. But in every post, there will be a link that can help people quickly link and go to the appropriate next step. But our campaign is set up only for awareness. We're not deciding the effectiveness of the top of the funnel campaign based off of the amount of clicks that we got. Cool. We're just only trying to get eyeballs and then take, let's say, 50% of those eyeballs and move them to video number 2 in the funnel.
Cool. I love it. Guys, if you aren't watching the YouTube part of it, reverse back, Sam showed the little picture of the funnel broken up into 3. And this is an amazing model because you can run this model on your Facebook ads and then bucket people into those other buckets for middle and end on the ad side of things. And what we suggest too is you guys take your niches and you record videos and you get them on your website and turn them into what we call video posts, but yanks all the words out. And then you start to rank those too. Because when people are Googling, hey, buying my first home in Roseburg, Oregon, or maybe they wouldn't even be looking at that, but they might be looking at the price range or the size of house or neighborhoods that are traditionally first-time home buyer neighborhoods. So you can go out there and dominate those in Google search. And then once they're there, they see your video series that walks through your expertise stuff. And then cool, now that they're there, now you retarget them back on Facebook with the stuff that Sam had mentioned too. So
dude, what you're saying is exactly what everyone should be paying attention to. It's not just creating funnels that you drive traffic to, it's repurposing that content, and with Carrot, owning your authority in search. And this is not a plug for your service, but would I rather have attention from someone that I ripped off of Facebook, or have attention from someone that had the intent of going to Google and searching for my service all day long? I'd rather have that search lead. So if you're doing these things, if you're doing any sort of content and you're not repurposing for both of these efforts, you're missing the boat. Do we have time to quickly break down an example of how an investor can do this for buying homes?
Let's do it. I love it. Yep.
So on the investor side or on the agent side, I think that most people focus on one data point, an expired listing, a for sale by owner. The investors and agents I see doing the best are the ones that stack multiple data points and only go after that defined group. So our friend Ken Clothier shared a data point stack that he crushes with, and we started testing and we're killing it with. And that's, as an investor or an agent, but let's say you're an investor, I'm going to get a stack of data that has all of these present. Number 1 is non-owner occupied property, stacked by out-of-town owner, stacked by vacant, stacked by equity, stacked by some sort of financial distress. That is, those people, if someone reaches out to them, what are they going to think? Holy crap, this is a sign, right? All of these things are present. You could be the richest man in Babylon or on your last dollar. And if you have a vacant property with high equity, it's stressing you out, right? So I take that data, I make a custom audience, And my first video might be something like, again, just to run with the burning of the dollar. You might be wondering why I'm burning this dollar. This is the equity and the opportunity that you as a landlord are burning away by not taking advantage of the top of the market and exiting now like the wealthy always do. The problem with being an investor is you never know when the market has gone down until the market already went down. And I'm no genius, but I'm predicting that we're at the top. And I also feel that you might be an investor that has a vacant property. Let me show you how we help investors like you go from vacant pain in the ass property to big fat checks where we help you pull out the equity you have in your
I love it. I love it, man. That's
I'm aware. What can you do to give them to consider and then get them to convert? Answer those questions in those 3 steps. And I feel like all of the lead flow that you want might be behind taking content, making funnels, and then repurposing through Carrot.
Dude, so one thing I want to highlight to people is this. I've been talking about this for years. I'm not the only one, but I'll talk with a ton of real estate agents. They're always really hesitant to niche. And they think, well, shoot, niching means I'm excluding myself from all this potential in my market. And I said, well, cool. Like, well, if they're resistant to niche, the next thing I said, oh, well, I get it, but here's why niching is important. And let me illustrate this to you. And then I do, but then I say, cool. So are there types of houses or properties or people that you just like to work with a lot and you'd love to work with them a lot more and they pay you well? And they're like, well, yeah, I like these ones. And I like these ones. And cool. I like these and sweet. So there's 3. Awesome. And they all pay you well when you do those. Yeah, but I don't do enough of them. And I feel if I niche on those, that's only like 4% of my business and this 96% is over here. I go, but if you became the authority in those 3 niches, you are going to attract a lot more of that business by creating so much content. Like Sam did 2 niches. He did first-time home buyers. He becomes the authority in first-time home buyers with the content in Facebook and through the ads and through organic whenever they're searching. Or you can be the authority on tired landlord stuff or eviction process stuff in your area and how that turns into blah, 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 or whatever it is. And the deeper you can go in those niches, the more that you're going to be an expert, the less your commission is going to be eroded, the higher your profits can be because you are the expert. Guys, don't avoid niching. It's going to be really hard to do your awareness content just by doing, hey, do you want to buy a house in Richmond, Virginia? It's going to be really hard to do that. You're going to get some people, but it's going to be hard and it's going to be expensive.
And let me address that real quick too, dude, because in both scenarios, if I'm niching the content, one of 2 things is happening. I then am taking that content and I'm targeting the person that niche content best applies to. So the idea that I am secluding other people, I think, is broken because done correctly, the only one that's going to see this niche content is when you targeted the right person. So to them, it's a perfect fit and the rest of the world has no idea. Right. So you're not actually niching yourself to the masses. You're niching yourself for the person that needs that niche. And then when I go onto the Carrot, like trying to get more organic positioning, the person that's searching that niche is not the person that's not searching the niche. Right. Like, so you're only showing up niche to the appropriate people. And to the rest of the world, you're showing up however you choose to as a professional real estate agent or an investor or whatever. Niching done correctly doesn't push other people away.
I love it. Dude, a couple more questions in the 10 minutes or so we've got. So you have a chance, obviously, to talk to a lot of real estate agents, both through Closing Table, the mastermind that you run with Oliver and with Roland, and then also at Big Block, and I'm sure tons of other spots. What right now are you seeing as some of the more major common issues that agents are coming to you saying, man, I'm experiencing this now and I wasn't a year ago? Are there any things that are popping up that are the agents are kind of coming and struggling with?
I think that commission compression is probably at the top of the list. How do I handle it when my seller said Redfin will do it for this or other agent will do it for that? To me, there's a lot of things there, right? One, and probably most importantly, how do you handle those objections is directly tied to your communication and your dialogue, your ability to handle objections like with a smile and style. But 2, I'm a big believer that, back to your scenario, if I'm expert versus authority versus celebrity authority, look, like I am not going to give Josh Altman or even just an authority, not a celebrity authority, I'm not going to give them that much pushback on price. It's like, do you walk into your attorney's office and negotiate? No, because they have the authority that brought you there. Do you walk into your doctor's office and negotiate? No, there's a right. So I believe that you get less objections as your authority climbs as well. So I'd say at the top of the list for me right now is how do I deal with the people that are compressing my commission? And if you focus on value, you focus on brand, and you focus on communication and dialogue, I mean, we're having agents still get 6, 7, sometimes 8% commission. How can that be? It's because they approach it differently, they communicate differently, and they aren't willing to just fall over when someone gives them that objection.
Dude, there was one amazing one down in and I'd heard this concept before, but it was so cool. I can't remember his name. Is that Closing Table? Is that the one down in Beverly Hills? And he's an agent in California, and he has the model where he's going and doing the repairs for the sellers, then he sells it for the higher price.
Yep.
Can't remember his name, but
that's probably maybe Josh Zollinger.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And I loved it because, and this is where I want to bring this out to people listening to this is especially for agents, but also for investors. So many people are focusing in on, well, here's how agents work. You know, we got the license and we got this thing called the MLS, and I'm kind of the gateway between the two. And in exchange for that, and being a glorified Uber driver, getting to drive people around and show houses, I make this little cut, right? Like that's what a lot of agents do. And those are the ones that are going to get commissions compressed if they've got that mindset. As long as I'm bubbly, as long as I'm awesome, I've got my face on billboard signs or, bench signs or whatever, then I can like be an agent. But the problem is, imagine if you're an agent and you're going up against that guy that we had mentioned, and what he does or had done is he goes in there and goes, cool, I'm an agent, and I'm not these words, but I'm an agent. I've got this service, right? And I think your house can sell really well at $350 as is. But with this upgraded kitchen and this bathroom, if we tear the floors out and put this paint on, there's probably $50,000 in work. We feel we could sell it at $475 in this market really quick. And then the cool thing about it was, at least then, and it sounded crazy when he was saying it, but he was putting up his own cash and his own construction crew just for the higher commission. And I'm like, dude, that's amazing. But you should be not only the commission, but also a cut of the extra. So a cut over the 350. Like if it's selling for another 125,000 more, he should be getting like 10 or 20% of that, in addition to the normal commission of the first 350. And there's no way that me as a seller is going to say no to that as long as the guy has authority and he has a website that I can see, oh, he does good work. Like he's not going to tear my house up, right? He does good work, and there's good examples and there's good credibility. He's got some content and how to make your house amazing to increase the sale for it. And that's what I would do if I were him, is I would double down on content all over the place and show before, after. Here's what we could have listed at. Here's what we did before, after. And I would even teach people the top 5 things in this city you should be doing to increase the home value of your house before you sell. And the cool thing is you're creating all this pain because the person goes, that's amazing, but I don't want to do the work and I don't have the money to pay for it. Awesome. I can do both for you. And so there's no way if you're a Sally agent going out there and your commission is getting compressed because you're trying to do the normal thing, you're showing up against him and he's like, I will pay for the renovation. I will increase your house sale by $120,000, $25,000. It'll take 8 weeks to do it, and blah. There's no way. That's where I want agents to really be standing out and going, how do we get more creative in this market? And one of the ways you can do it, I want to flip it back over to you, is if you have more cash in your pocket and you're getting more of the cut, you have more luxury to go out there and start to be more creative with your marketing, start to offer a better service and things like that. So that goes over to Big Block. Once again, I make no money for doing this, but I want to put more money in our clients' pockets and agents' pockets. That's part of why we do what we do too. But dude, let's talk about Big Block for a second. So what does it look like to work with Big Block, and who are the people that you tend to see moving away from a traditional brokerage, your Caldwell Bankers, Keller Williams, stuff like that, over to you guys?
Thanks for asking, dude. We today do the best with really 3 categories of people. Solo agents that are actively producing. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of agents that are part-timers like any other brokerage, but we do the best with active solo agents, 1. 2, were almost perfectly built for bigger teams, right? The person that has 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 people underneath them, by transitioning over to a model like ours, the team lead gets a raise and so does everyone else on the team. And they have a lot more control over the business. And then lastly, we do really well with investors. I'd say most of the bigger investors that participate on the retail side, most of them in our market work at Big Block because, again, we just give them the freedom and the ability to maximize their profit. And the shortest, easiest way to look at it for us is we charge an agent or an investor $3,600 a year to hang their license with us. And then there's E&O and a small admin fee of a couple $100 per transaction. And they keep 100% commission from there. So if you are at a place that has, let's say, a $24,000 cap, or you're paying 80/20, just by making the move, we're able to help you have more profit that you can reinvest in marketing and content, in helping sellers add value to their home or whatever it may be.
I love it. And the cool thing is, man, once again, people aren't losing and missing out on like the support, the resources, and the training. They're actually probably getting more of all of that with you guys, which is a cool thing.
Yeah, we call ourselves 100% commission, 100% support, right? Like you're going to get it all. There's training every day, free coaching, actually free coaching. All of our brokers in-house are attorneys, agent concierge, office open 7 days a week. So ton of value, ton of support, and a ton more money.
Cool, dude. One last question for you, and I'm going to see you a month from now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Coming up soon.
It's gonna be a blast. So, for real estate agents right now that are maybe getting commission compressed, maybe having a little bit harder time because there's a lot more competition in the market. What would you suggest? And this is a way open-ended question, might be a terrible question actually, but what would you suggest that agent who's like starting to kind of feel like they might be walking in mud a little bit and starting to lose some of those listings or buyers that they're losing before? What would you start to guide them toward? Is there a mindset shift they need to make? Is there anything that you're like, man, look at this and start to tweak this?
Yeah, for sure. Without a shadow of a doubt, there's a lot of things we can do, like Josh's thing that we talked about, right? Find ways to add more value and have different features and benefits. Those are all great. We should be exploring them. If I'm the average agent and I just need to get better at the table and I need to get more sellers and buyers to say yes, I believe that all of that comes back to your communication and your dialogue skills. And I think that as investors and as agents, no one talks about this anymore. Why? Because all we talk about is technology and content and all of these things that are important and I'm using in mega ways to grow our businesses. It's everything, but it's nothing without your ability to effectively communicate and convert the attention that you generate. So for me, if you're struggling on buyers or on sellers, I would say the easiest place to look for improving your conversions is learning how to communicate better. And to me, I go to certain places that have the best education on sales, and that's where I would direct you. Outside of that, look for a brokerage in your area that provides that side of the support, right? Like sales training, advantages to make your offering better. And maybe that place also offers 100% commission.
I love it, man. Dude, so where can people find out about you guys? I know you guys put out your Facebook Lives whenever you do them. It's like open to the public, isn't it?
Most of our trainings, a good half of them are open to the public. So if you want to just check out the training and stuff that we talked about, you can follow me on Facebook or on Instagram. My Instagram handle is the9th0 spelled out. And also, if you just want to learn more about the model, not necessarily come and join Big Block, check us out at bigblockrealty.com. We're looking for partners to expand in different markets with. So if you're an investor and want to find ways to profit on the retail side, which you should, or vice versa, we'd love to talk to you.
Cool. I love it, man. Sam, thanks for the time, dude. Appreciate it big time. Like, so see you in a couple of weeks. And guys, please go follow Sam. I've been following him on Instagram for a while. I love your motivational posts. You have an amazing article that went on where was it, on Inman recently, or they talked
Yep.
about your thing that showed how you grew your Instagram in a big way. So go follow him over there, guys, because he's doing some amazing things. Just model what Sam's doing and go check out Big Block. They're doing awesome things. Sam, appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, man, it was an honor. Thanks a ton for having me on. If there's anything we can do to support, let us know.
Sounds good. Guys, go over, rate, and review this episode over on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to it. And once again, guys, the fuel, the lifeblood of these podcasts is the engagement. We want to hear, are we doing great? Who else you want to have on the call, on the episode? And let us know in the review section. And guys, last thing I'm going to say, again, go follow Sam on Instagram because he drops some amazing gold over there. Guys, have an amazing rest of the week. We'll talk soon.